So, yeah. Hello, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I hope you had a good, restful holiday period and season. Um, we had one of these last year where we spoke specifically about topics that our clients at the time wanted us to sort of dive deeper into. And I remember one of the things that we spoke about in a little bit of detail was crisis management. But we spoke in general about just online marketing and online communications and the industry. Today's session is going to be a little bit different, only because we're going to spend a little bit more time speaking about what we do, what we've done over the last year since we've been an active agency. Hello. And what we plan to do moving forward as well. So that's what's going to be more of the focus. But we are going to speak a little bit about the industry, and we are going to speak a little bit about, trends around what could possibly happen within digital marketing and just the digital space in general as we go further into this new year. So let's start with what we've been up to over the last year. We sort of marked our first anniversary as an agency, as the digital marketing agency in November, on the 19th of November in 2022. So that was gratifying. That was, quite exciting for us. But yeah, we've spent the last year working as a digital marketing agency, as an online marketing agency, offering an array of services to clients around social media marketing, web designing, content creation, and things of the like. So that's where we've been. And to start off this year, what we really wanted to do was set overarching goals for how we wanted to see the brand grow, so that we could be really intentional about working towards those goals and achieving those goals by the end of the year, and hopefully seeing, of course, a lot of changes in that direction. And those kind of sort of goals and plans that we have for Logia Communications as a brand also then extend to our current clients and our potential clients, and how we want to interact with them and address whatever issues that they might have concerning their brand and around, the things that they want to achieve within their own organization. So for us, that meant creating a new strategy for the year, not just for social media, which, this sort of session is really more focused on, but just in general for the things that we wanted to achieve as an organization, as a growing business. Stuff like, being more streamlined into smaller businesses where we feel like there is more of a need, how we want to see ourselves grow, what kind of benchmarks we want to hit, and things like that. And that also meant that we had to rethink some of the services that we offer and how we offer them, because we wanted to make sure that everything that we are doing for our clients is really addressing their pressure points, is really, really dealing with the things that they need to see dealt with right now. And the best way to do that was to re-strategize, to streamline our services to really reflect what our clients have told us over the last year, what our potential clients have told us for the coming year, and what we feel like people within our specific market need. So we, obviously based the decisions that we're making on all the work that we did the year before, and what we, again, feel like we will need as a business as we move forward. So yeah, in terms of the things that we are now currently offering to our clients in terms of our services, we have simplified and broken down the things that we offer into content creation related services and content management related services, which were heavy areas of focus for us and our clients last year, and the things that they needed to see from us. So initially we had a customizable package outside of our like silver, bronze, gold packages, premium, platinum, and things like that. And a lot of our clients diverted more towards the customizable package, because that was flexible, and we anticipated that when we offered that package, because we knew it would be more flexible and they would be able to pick and choose the things that really work for their brand. And we also knew that even if they were picking things from the other packages, they might not want every single thing to be in one price point and under one package. They might want something from a silver, like social media management from the silver package, while wanting web design and web management from the platinum, premium platinum package. So what we have done is sort of refocused all our energies into the customizable package, by offering a lot of similar services, but allowing that flexibility to be the primary way in which our current and potential clients access our services. So for the content creation arm of things, it's mostly going to be writing and designing. It's just, copywriting, content writing, flyers, media kits, photo books, and web design, and things like all the things that we've already done before. So nothing particularly is new. It's more an issue of ensuring that what we're offering is actually answering the questions that our clients have been asking us, and actually hitting all the things that they need to be dealt with within the branding, digital marketing arm of their business. And we offer consultation always with our clients. It comes with a lot of the things that we do, because part of whatever work you're doing is as a digital marketer is discussing with your clients the specific things that their business does, what their business needs, and how you think your services are going to answer some of the questions that they have, and deal with some of the queries that they have as a business. So consultation becomes a natural part of that, because then we go on to say, okay, yeah, you're doing A, B, and C right now, and you want this service. We think that you could have this service or these services, and also then make these changes on the back end of how you are addressing your brand, because we think that you will see more success doing that. So that becomes a natural part of what you're doing, and that hasn't changed. And then for the content management arm of things, it's really just, the basics is your social media management, website management, which we already do for a lot of clients, both of those things. We've also, in the past and presently, done blog management, and podcast management respectively for our clients. So we are just solidifying our base when it comes to that, and offering those more as clear-cut things that we offer, as opposed to options that you can play around with from a custom package. So now there's a lot more clarity, and as a growing business, of course, when we started, we had different ideas based on our research of what the clients or our potential clients and potential customers would need. And now with the benefit of experience, we can go back and say, yeah, they need all those things, but they also need them in this specific way and at this specific time. And so that's what we're trying to accommodate with these changes. So when it comes to the trends for the coming year, that we wanted to discuss and really get into, some of the things, my apologies, some of the things that we really wanted to talk about is how we think that the industry is going to change based on improving and growing technology. So the first note that I really want to make, that I think is super important for us to think about in the coming year, is that I personally, and by extension, our brand believes that we're going to see a return to some of the key messages of media, not just in marketing or advertising or anything like that, but obviously as a ripple effect is going to touch all these areas as well. But we think we're going to see a little return or a reimagining, if you will, of the things that seem important to the traditional or the basic tenets of media and how it is utilized. And two of the things that we would really like to focus on as a brand for this year is the fact that content is king. And content is key, and it always has been and always will be, and that the medium is the message. So when we talk about the content side of things, I want to speak a little bit about artificial intelligence and the impact it's having on the industry. There is a lot of, there are a lot of conversations right now going on about AI, and as much as there's a lot of excitement about the possibilities with AI, there's definitely some hesitation, especially from the viewpoint of many creators, not just in media, but like in art and other industries, about how unethical or the ethics around AI. Let's not generalize and say unethical, because, you know, it's a baby technology in many ways in terms of utilization, but the ethics around AI have become an increasing sort of talking point amongst a lot of creatives, because of the very nature of it, because it's such an aggregate type technology. There is a worry that, and it's not an unfounded worry, because, you know, all these conversations have pointed towards examples of this happening, but plagiarism and a lack of attribution has become a genuine worry around the use of AI. And the truth that a lot of people within the industry and other creators might not want to address right now is that AI might actually replace a lot of the jobs that we do, because it will hit the basic notes. It is interacting with previous tech and previous sort of methodologies like search engine optimization. And, you know, the internet is all interconnected and globalized now. It's interacting with all of those things. And so it will use all of that collected experience, and it will use all of those tools to really create things that will hit, like I say, the basic notes, that will do the basic job. It's tailored to great success for that specific reason. But at the same time, because of this conversation about ethics, and because of this conversation about plagiarism, and because of the inevitable possibility that some of the content that is aggregated and created by AI and used by people who then go on to rely on AI, there might be backlash about that kind of content, because people might come up and say, yeah, this is a piece of me, or this is a piece of my work, or this, that, and the other. Because of that, there is also likely to be a flood back to more human-created content. And by that, I mean things that are more natural, more authentic, more interactive, and that generally lend an air of honesty and humanity to them. Because the audience is getting, with each passing year and with the internet allowing you to sort of not just understand, but even be aware of a lot of the things, a lot of the tools and the methods that are being used by people in our industry, audiences are getting increasingly more intelligent about what they're consuming. And that goes for your customers as a digital marketer, but also the customers of your clients. So there is a very real possibility that people might not, while it will work and while it will have, you know, some turnover, people might not connect as fluidly to it until the technology becomes a little bit more fine-tuned, because the reality for them is that there is something false about that kind of content creation, and so they are gravitating towards things that feel, in the same way that a lot of buyers are gravitating more towards smaller scale businesses and enterprises going for their Etsy and online stores before they go for a larger chain. There is also going to be, I believe, a tendency for consumers to gravitate more towards content that is created authentically and naturally and by other human beings, because they will feel a greater sense of connection to that than they would to content that is created by technology that is really just aggregating what it thinks by industry standards, by what the industry believes that kind of content is supposed to look like, what it thinks will best appeal to human beings, and what it thinks will best lead to lead generation and sales and things like that. So that's on the content end of things. Now, in terms of mediums, there are at present a lot of changes in the ecosystem, and there have been for a couple of years, in all fairness. So not that it wasn't important before, but because ideologies, social political ideologies specifically, but just general ideologies about the way that we are continuing to live our lives on this planet, are going to influence the things that people choose to do or the things that they choose to use. The channel that you use to market your products or services is going to become increasingly important, not just to you as a marketer or as a small business owner, but to your audience and to your customers and to your clients. Because people are now exercising more increasingly, with an increasing sort of veracity, their ability to only purchase or use things that serve them in an ideological way. And that's not the case across board by any stretch of the imagination. It's just something worth paying attention to in terms of where you decide to market what your product is. And that will definitely be determined by what your product or service is, first of all, that you're trying to sell to people, who those people you're trying to sell to are, and that would then reflect where it is that you're supposed to be selling to them. And we had a little bit of this conversation last year when we were talking about an offline business looking for online customers. While it's absolutely wise and necessary to consider online customers in the ever-changing digital nature of our world, you have to also understand that if you are selling something that does not appeal to anybody in the market you're selling to, then it's a waste of your time and your resources. So if the channel you're using to market your product is not where your audience is, it's an equal waste of your time and resources. So under this, there's a lot to think about and talk about, but one of the examples, and I think the easiest example any of us can use right now, is the situation around Twitter and its new ownership, and the reaction of audiences as a result of that. So audiences are reacting to the changes on Twitter by, at least for now, we don't know the numbers yet, we can't tell for sure, but I'm very sure there'll be more information around that as the year goes on. But audiences are reacting to it by talking about the other platforms they could be on that will offer them, if not the exact same experience, but something close enough that they don't have to then be on this platform that they don't want to be on for whatever reason. Another one you could talk about is the way that influencer culture has begun to, and has for a while now, begun to lose its allure. And there was a time where it was inevitable that if an influencer marketed your product or even just spoke about your product or your service, people would flood to you and want to buy from you. Now, because celebrity status for us, at least mentally, but also societally, has a ranking system for us in our minds, you are sort of a little bit more cautious about who you listen to about products and services. And of course, when you pull back the curtain and you can see what's going on behind there, you know that, yeah, this person is only sharing this product or service with me because they're getting paid to. Which, I mean, ironically is the same thing as whatever brand ambassador or anything else that you have, but just simply because of the distrust right now around influencer culture, people are a little bit more reluctant to buy in that way, based purely on someone who they follow on social media, whose general claim to fame is not, as at least in their mind, as high up on the ranking system as maybe a musician or an actor or a singer, or whatever the case may be. They are more reluctant to buy from those people now than they were when, influencer marketing first became a thing. And I mean, that happens across board with marketing sort of methods, because people either become a little too aware of what wheels are turning behind the scenes, or become distrusting of the process in some way or the other. And that's kind of what is happening here right now. And again, not across board. There's still people who very much subscribe to buying in that way because they have a certain level, and sometimes it's just based on the influencer. If they know someone is a makeup guru and that they've bought things based on their recommendations before and have never felt led astray, they're not going to stop now just because there's a general shift. They're going to continue to buy from that person. So it really depends on what it is you're selling and who you're selling it to. That's always going to be the backbone of whatever it is that you're doing. Knowing who your audience is and knowing what it is that their habits and their systems are, because that's what's going to determine if they are actually affected by the trends, because trends are just trends. They are not an overarching rule, and people don't live their lives by them as much as we think that they do. And then people are protecting their privacy a lot more. People are protecting what they think that should remain private to them, what is important to them to keep sort of away from the gaze of social media or the online world a little bit more. So, and I mean, understandably, the internet has proven to be a difficult place to sort of live openly for a lot of people. And as much as that desire might be there is also a little bit of trepidation about how much is too much and how much you really want to share. So if you're going to think about your audience, it's worth thinking about how they are protecting their privacy and how that might affect, first of all, what you know about them. Because if more people are either moving offline or trying to, not necessarily moving offline, because being online now is such a key part of the way that we function in this world, that like we have almost, and probably to our detriment, made it sort of a problem for people to exist outside of the online space. So maybe not necessarily moving offline, but if you need to know specific facts about your audience or about your customer, rather, but they are no longer sharing with any great consistency every detail of their life, that makes it a little bit more difficult for you to go down that rabbit hole and fish out whatever information or data you want. And I, for one, would be one of the people to say that's actually a good thing. Just because we are in search of customers and clients and consumers doesn't mean that we need to live this life where we are sort of infiltrating every private moment of another person's, existence. So if the world is by some miracle going to move offline, despite it being a detriment to our brand and our business, but marketing itself doesn't exist just in an online space, and it doesn't have to, and it really shouldn't. So if individuals are protecting their privacy a lot more because they recognize that corporations are using every thought, detail, feeling that they share online as a way to market more to them, then kudos to them for actually finally seeing the dangers of sort of living permanently online. But of course, on the other end, for anyone who is on the selling end of things, there's definitely a need to adjust and to pivot and to consider how these changes are going to affect how much you know about your audience, how much of your audience's time you have access to anymore, and what they are now willing to accept or put up with from your organization, from your brand, with regards to your products and your service and your marketing. So yeah, we've actually already come down to a half-hour mark, which works out perfectly. So yeah, clips from this session will be posted online as over the next few days. So we hope that allows for any questions that anybody might have regarding specific things that are being covered here, how to access them, how to understand them, any questions anybody might have about our services, and things of that nature. But with that, we're very happy to call this to a close, and we hope to be able to share more of these kinds of sessions and these kinds of recordings with you over the coming year. And we really look forward to working with you and for your brand in any way that you might need. Thank you very much. Goodbye.